Hey guys, Javery here, and today we're going to take a little bit more in-depth look at sidechain compression. What is sidechain compression? It's simple. Really, it's just when you have one sound that has a compressor on it where that compressor is being turned on or engaged by a different sound, effectively squashing the signal of the sound that the compressor's on to create rhythmic movement or to somewhat duck or lower the volume a little bit and create a little bit more space, a little bit more pumping effect, kind of a breathing effect. This is a technique that's commonly used in EDM to give synthesizers a lot of rhythmic movement. It is a great technique that can be used in a lot of genres of music. If you're having trouble getting a specific sound in your mix to kind of float to the top or rise above other elements, let's say you've got some muddiness and you've tried to EQ it and you just can't get it to work, sidechaining is something that could be something that would be worth trying. So here we are in Fender Studio Pro 8, and I've created a little house EDM loop here that we're going to take a listen to, and this is the main piece of music that we're going to be working with in today's tutorial. So let's take a listen here. Okay, you get the idea. Basically what I've got here is a synthesizer that is playing some chords, and that's just sitting on top of a kick drum and a couple of top end loops with hi-hat, snare, etc. Now, I don't have any compression on this synthesizer at this point, and when we listen to this soloed out, you're going to hear that this is pretty flat. Not a lot of movement to that, not a lot of breathing. It sounds cool, but it could sound a lot better, and we're going to make that sound better with some sidechain compression. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to open up our console view, and what we want to do is we're going to use the compressor that is inside of Fender Studio Pro just natively. So if we type in, well, we need to get into the effects. There we go, compressor. We're going to drag the compressor over to the inserts of our synthesizer track. You can see that opens up our native compressor here inside of Fender Studio Pro. Now, what I want to do, I don't want this compressor to just be compressing everything straight from the signal of the synthesizer coming into it. Like I mentioned before at the start of the video, I want to sidechain this, or I want it to reference a different track inside of my session that will then automatically turn that compressor on and off basically in reference to what that other signal is doing. So typically what you're going to see in EDM is something like this setup where I've got a synthesizer and it's going to reference your kick drum. Now, when I listen here, that kick is pretty driving. And so what I want to do is go back to my compressor, and next to the preset drop-down menu here, I've got the button sidechain. I'm going to hit sidechain, then the arrow right next to it, click that, and that's going to open this drop-down menu. Now you're going to see that this shows all of the tracks that I currently have in my session. We want to reference the kick drum. So if I click on send next to the kick drum and then get out of there, now watch what happens here when I start playing this track. I'm going to adjust the threshold. Ratio maybe. Okay, let's listen to that without the kick drum so you can see what that's doing. Oops. Now that has a lot of movement to it. You're going to recognize that sound. If you're a fan of EDM, if you're a fan of house music, you're going to recognize that sound probably in every single song that you've ever heard. If you've wondered how those artists do that or how those DJs get that, that's what they're doing. They're sidechaining. Now, what that effectively does is moves that signal or moves that sound of the synthesizer out of the way and kind of squashes it down every time that kick drum hits. Now, that is going to allow that kick drum to kind of float to the top or cut through the mix. So let's listen to that again with everything. You can also change your attack if you want that to happen quicker, if you want it a little slower, if you want the release. Those functions are going to be exactly the same as if you were using the compressor in a standalone fashion on the track that it's compressing. Much more interesting when you hear that. You can change the knee, soft knee, hard knee, soft knee. Let's listen to that again by itself. Yeah, nice. Now let's bypass that and let's hear it without it. Boring. I mean, it's still cool, but it doesn't have the flavor that it does with the sidechain. Yeah, okay, that's cool. So that is one of the most basic usages of sidechain compression. When you sidechain your compressor to a different track inside of your session that then triggers that compressor to turn on and off or engage on whatever instrument you have it on the insert channel of. So that's one way of using it. Now, I want to show you something here that is a little bit different. Let's say you want to have that synthesizer pump in a little bit different rhythm, but you don't want to necessarily have it engaging with any other track that is in your session or in your mix. You can do a technique here. You can utilize a technique that's called ghost sidechaining. And let's take a look at that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in an impact instance here, and this doesn't matter what I've got. It really doesn't. Like all I want to do here is get a kick drum. And the reason I'm using a kick drum is because it's got clear, concise, sharp transients that the synthesizer can really pick up on to start using as a triggering mechanism. So that seems good. So let's go in here. We're going to turn on our click track. And we're going to solo that out. And what we're going to do is we're just going to play something simple, kind of a rhythmic, passage on this kick drum. And let's see here. Okay, let's quantize that and let's take a listen. Okay, and we're going to duplicate that all the way through our track here. And now what I want to do is when I go back to my console view and I open up my compressor that I have currently on my synth inserts, I'm going to open that up. I'm going to go to my sidechain arrow here, and I'm going to unclick kick, and I'm going to go down to impact. Actually, what I want to do here is close the synthesizer, and I'm going to type in ghost. So when I open the compressor and I go to my arrow, you're going to see that I've got the send on the ghost channel checked. So now, if I play this and I go through the similar process that we went through before, you're going to hear that kick is going to be actuating the compressor on the synth track. Let's just listen to that and see what it sounds like. So if you look at this little line where it's being compressed, the yellow line there, you can see that it is rhythmically moving with that ghost kick that I just created. But right now it's not a ghost trigger. It's not a ghost sidechain. So what I want to do to create that is right here where it says main on my output of my channel. I want to click that and I want to go down to sidechains. Now you can see that on the synth, on my inserts, I've got the compressor. I want to choose that. Now, what you're going to see here is that that is going to basically make this kick drum that I was just using, that instrument, inaudible. You're not going to hear the kick drum, but what you're going to hear is the result of the compressor being triggered by the kick drum that I played there. So if we listen to this again, let's go ahead and solo this synthesizer. And let's see here. I gotta make sure that I have the ghost trigger or the ghost note there soloed as well, so it is actuating or playing. And if I pull up the compressor and we look at that, you can see it's doing that same thing. Now, I might want, maybe I don't want the attack as much. Or maybe I want it to release a little bit quicker. Maybe a little less ratio. Okay, let's hear that in context with everything. You can see over here that yellow line, it's triggering both here and here based on what's going on the ghost section there, or the ghost notes. Okay, so that is a different technique to utilize sidechain compression on. That is called ghost sidechaining. So we've taken a look at two of those now. We've got kind of your standard sidechain where you are sidechaining to a separate instrument that you might want to make shine or have that float to the top and be a little bit more transparent or have a little bit more clarity. You might want to use this as more of a rhythmic ducking mechanism that you don't want to hear. You don't want to hear what the trigger actually is. That's going to be your ghost sidechain. So that was the second thing we looked at. Now, one of the other things here that I want to show you is you can use this on effects as well. And this is pretty cool. So, you know, let's take a look at something here that, oh, what would be a good, we could do like a vocal. Let's record a vocal real quick on here. So I'm going to go ahead and add a vocal track. Here we go, vocals. And I am going to, I don't know, record something pretty ugly here. Let's see. One of the things that I actually want to do here is I'm going to delete this ghost and we're going to go back to just more of a standard sidechain. I just think that that'll work a little bit better for this example. So if I go back here, again, go through that process, I'm going to choose kick. So it's referencing or sidechaining to the kick now. And yeah. Nice. Maybe a little much. Okay, that'll work. Okay, let's do a little recording here of vocals. I run down to the ocean side, only to see you.
Deep over sand and the waves, on my way to see you, see you.
Okay, that's terrible, but this is gonna work.
I run down to the ocean side, only to see you, on my way.
Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add an effects channel. We're gonna call this verb. We're going to bring in a reverb. This can be any reverb that you want. I am going to do just a room reverb that comes stock in Fender Studio Pro. And I don't know, let's do large club. I don't know. See what that sounds like. And we're going to send this, we're going to send our vocal track to the effects bus. I have another video on this if you're interested in seeing how to do this, but for the time being, this should do the trick.
Deep over sand and the waves, on my way to see you, see you, on my way. Deep over sand and the waves, on my way.
Okay, let's get, I want to bump that vocal up a little bit and make it a little bit more present in the mix. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put a UAD Vox box, the Manly Vox box on there. I'm going to add a little bit of compression and we're going to drive that a little bit more in the mix.
See you, on my way. Deep over sand and the waves, on my way to see you, see you, on my way. Deep over sand.
Okay, that's not sitting perfectly in the mix, but that's okay because I just want to use this to show you how to use sidechain compression, what this whole video is about, on an effect channel. So what we can do here is we can go back to our effects, and we've got an FX bus on here now called Verb. I'm going to go back to my effects browser. I'm going to drag an instance of the stock compressor right below the insert of my room reverb on there. Now, I'm going to do the exact same thing here with the vocals though. So if I sidechain this and I choose the vocals here as my send, watch what happens to this. This is really crazy.
I run down to the ocean side, only to see you, on my way.
Now what's happening with that is that the reverb signal is actually getting sidechained to the vocal. So if you have problems with muddy, with reverb creating a muddy vocal in your mix, this is an amazing technique that you can use to get that reverb slightly out of the way to let your vocal shine through. And then once your vocal lets go or eases up, the reverb re-engages and really gives it a nice effect on that tail end. So let's listen to this vocal by itself with the sidechained reverb on it.
Deep over sand and the waves, on my way to see you, see you.
Okay, let's listen. Okay, you can see that it's working by that yellow line engaging there, and that's a little bit heavy on the compression. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Maybe a little slower attack there.
Leap over sand and the waves.
Now let's listen to it without. This is going to be subtle.
See you on my way. Leap over sand and the waves. On my way to see you.
Okay.
See you.
Now that's subtle, and it's a slight effect there. You can make it more dramatic, of course, but that gives you a great idea of how that gets that muddiness out of the way and drops those signals down and really lets whatever element you're trying to sidechain and you want to have be more present or more transparent. It's a great technique to do it. So again, a little recap here. We've got our standard sidechaining where we're sidechaining to another instrument. We have our ghost sidechain where we're basically sidechaining to a instrument that has been muted for all intents and purposes. And then we've got kind of a creative outside of the box usage of sidechaining where we're actually using it on an insert effect. So I hope that this video gives you a little bit better explanation of what sidechaining is and how to apply it to a few different scenarios inside of your session. So take this and run with it and start using it today, because I guarantee it's something that you're going to love. It's something that can really take your mixes to the next level. Let me know how it goes for you. If this video helped you out, make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel. I'm pretty fledgling here on YouTube. I'm just getting these videos going. I'm hoping that some of my knowledge out there can help somebody out in the world. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.